MLive's Brennan Quinn here alongside Michigan football beat writer Nick Baumgardner from Michigan's Monday press conference here at Chrysler Center. Brady was asked today about Dave Brandon's resignation, the installation of Jim Hackett as the university's interim athletic director. He didn't want to talk about it Saturday, and I think that was understandable after the game, after the win over Indiana. But today, at least had something to say about it, and kind of what'd you take, if anything, from his response?
Well, he paid his respects, I guess, to Dave Brandon, the man who hired him, gave him all that money, so I guess that's part of it. So he basically said Dave told him on Friday that he was going to resign. That didn't really want to get into any more of that, which is fine. Said that he met or saw Jim Hackett briefly after the game there on Saturday. Hasn't really talked to him since, and that's when I asked, is that something you plan on doing or he plans on doing? And he seemed to say yes. At some point, sooner than later, he said sooner than later, they'll sit down and have a conversation about where they're all at. Beyond that, he made a point of saying, basically without being asked, that he's not going to worry about his job security. He said he'll never worry about his job security. He believes that would only distract him from doing the current job that he's doing, which I don't disagree with. But at the same time, we've gotten to a point here where it's beyond, the elephant in the room. I mean, it's just obvious that every week his job is in serious jeopardy, and everyone knows that at this point.
Yeah, this is one thing that we've seen this a bunch of times with all the various issues on and off the field and the distractions that have come up where Brady is sometimes just kind of standoffish about delivering information just for the sake of it. And I thought that was very much the case today. I didn't understand why he was not willing to get in and say, I'm planning on meeting with the new athletic director at this day and time. It was still this kind of cat and mouse game of, I'm meeting with him, but I'm not going to tell you when. And I just don't get things like that. And when it comes to, making this look like a functioning operation that is getting back on track, that has direction, this coy little, we have plans, but no one else out here gets to know about it. What do you take from that?
Well, part of that is that's all Brady's ever done here. So part of that is that's what he knows. That was the Dave Brandon way.
Yeah.
A lot of people who, and we can go back years, a lot of people who knew Brady Hoke when he was here in the 90s would tell you, and even people that covered him at other stops would tell you, he was the most talkative, open guy. Everyone loved him when he was assistant here because he talked all the time. He gets here under the Dave Brandon regime and it's lock it up. No transparency. And that was one of the obvious public criticisms of Dave Brandon. So what I take from that is he hasn't spoken with Jim Hackett yet, because if he had, maybe he'd tell him, hey man, if somebody asks you a question and you're able to answer it, don't act like we're trying to constantly hide something, because that's been a huge criticism of him over the years, where every little thing turns into an explosive, what could be, because they're so secretive with everything. Jabrill Peppers is the classic case. It's the latest one, but it's the classic one. The kid has been injured all year. He's had 2 injuries. They've refused to talk about anything, so just this massive speculation fuels that he hates it here, he wants to leave, he wants to transfer. And Brady's left standing and wondering why this happens. And it's like, it happens because you foster this environment, and that was a bigger issue. So what it tells me is he hasn't talked to his new boss yet, because I would have to think that at some point his new boss would say, take it easy.
Yeah.
If you can avoid making something look worse than it is, do it. And it's not hurting anyone.
And it's really why every blip on the radar turns into
an explosive mess.
A bomb on the radar. Every time it's a story that could be handled once, instead turns into 2, 3, 4 days, and it just clouds.
And we've dealt with it, and we've told people all year long that, look, Jabrill Peppers in this case is injured. It's a legitimate injury. He's hurt. He can't play. But we keep getting asked, and we don't believe you. Well, but we can't come back with, it's weird because we can't go get Brady to tell us he's legitimately hurt and here's why. So then that just fuels it. So they bring it on themselves.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, I guess the 2 bits of actual football side was he did. I was asked about Jabrill again today, so you can touch on that, and then also, I guess the emergence of Drake Johnson here as being a guy that clearly people want to see more of, and are also wondering why they haven't already seen more of him.
Right. But Peppers, first quick, Brady had said today he's still not where he needs to be. Said that they plan to have something on that, I would assume, later this week. It's sort of what he indicated. Sounds like he's done for the year, and that's going to be an announcement probably before the end of the week. In terms of Drake Johnson, he was asked, where's this guy been? Why wasn't he in the football game before? Why hasn't he gotten a chance? According to Brady, it was, still rehabbing that knee in the spring. He didn't do anything. Drake didn't do anything in the spring, so still recovering from the knee surgery from a year ago. So then he starts kind of fall camp, maybe a little bit behind Derek Green. Davion Smith has to work his way back up the depth chart. That's sort of where Brady was coming with it. And I understand that because if he starts the season behind a couple of guys in the depth chart, you can't give him reps in practice if he's the 3 or the 4. You can only give him reps if somebody else falls that far behind, and that's exactly what happened. Derek Green gets hurt, and now all of a sudden Drake Johnson's going to get real reps in practice. You don't have 4 hours, 5, 6, 10 hours a day to practice like some people think you do. It's limited. So the reps haven't been there until recently. Now, people can ask, well, why didn't you identify this beforehand, whatever? I mean, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I do understand the logic of he hasn't really gotten the reps necessary until recent weeks. He has now, and now he's in a position to possibly start the football game on Saturday, or at least get a good look and some carries early.
There's also something to be said about a guy who is on the bottom of the depth chart getting a chance and going in there, and I feel like
it's a motivational.
It's easier to run maybe a little freer, a little looser, not thinking as much, not going through. Drake Johnson was just getting the ball and going on Saturday. That was it.
Nothing about it.
And you saw the results. So for Monday with Michigan, that's it. For Nick, I'm Brendan. Thanks for watching.